Hello everyone, it's Funbot28 here, and I'm back with another video, this time discussing the zero use metagame once more. But here, at this time around, I have two special guests with me. If you guys would like to introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name is Xayah. I am ZQ tier leader and here to join this video today.
I'm Durza. I am also known as Pitches, but I am a ZU council member, and I'm just kind of here to give my input.
Alright, so the main focus on this video, if for those who do not know, the September usage stats kind of dropped not too long ago, and with those drops we got a few interesting mons, and most notably we saw the return of Stoutland, which was a notable threat in previous metagames, and it's kind of already having an impact, to say the least, on the metagame just with the few days it's been out, and already the council has decided to suspect test it. So I guess we'll start the discussion on that. So I'll leave you guys leave your thoughts on Stoutland and its presence on the metagame.
Yeah, so Stoutland, for those of you who don't know the Pokemon very well because you only play higher tiers, it's basically it's just a normal type of Scrappy, Return, Superpower, Crunch, Stomping Tantrum, Pursuit, Facade, all kinds of standard moves that all the normal types get. The biggest thing is Scrappy for it, because it limits its switch-ins so much, and it's incredibly powerful. Like, its best set is a Choice Band set, and it kind of just breaks the whole metagame by simply clicking Return and Superpower if it has to.
Yeah, but it's really good at punishing Toxic Spikes with Facades, and it also has just so much coverage between also Superpower, Play Rough. Like, for example, like Superpowers, I think it's like a roll after a layer of spikes to KO Golem, which is super bulky, and that's ridiculous since that's normally one of its best switch-ins, or should have been. So. And
I think one of the most kind of notable things that makes Stoutland outshine other normal type wall breakers, think of, let's say, Buffalon, for example, that's a comparison that a lot of people make, is that, yeah, its ability Scrappy just kind of blows back most kind of ghost types that you would assume would check a normal type wall breaker. And also, like you guys mentioned, it's good coverage in Stomping Tantrum, Superpower, even other options like Pursuit that kind of let it break through its checks and counters, and really the tier is lacking a good normal resist at the moment. So I think that's what kind of makes Stoutland stand out as one of the best, just spammable wall breakers right now.
Yeah. And I mean, it's always been really good, right? We used to have it before. We had it back in beta, and for almost half a year we had it in the tier. It was suspected once, it didn't get banned, because back then it's two major checks, which were Tangela and Mawile, and these are still are its major checks. They were pretty good, right? They fit into the metagame well, they were common on balanced teams, and they had a real place to be. But it left in April, and we had a bunch of new drops in July, especially. And now 2 months later, Stoutland is back, and Tangela and Mawile are just a lot worse due to things like a Rising Oracurio, which we'll be talking about, a drop like Abomasnow being very, very good. Those two are simply a lot more pressured, and they cannot fit on as many teams, and it's therefore much harder to check Stoutland now.
Yeah, I'm anticipating a rise in Mawile usage, because I still think it's a good rocker. Right now the metagame seems not too diverse in terms of rockers. Like, I only see Golem spammed everywhere, just Golem, and you got Tussle and other things, but Mawile will be seeing more usage in a Stoutland meta, so that's something to look forward to how it affects things.
And I also want to note that even though it's quite powerful, it's also quite bulky too. Like, Stoutland could actually switch into a lot of stuff, so it's kind of easy to bring in, and it doesn't even have that bad of a speed tier when compared to other powerful hitters. So I think it's just the combination of its power, bulk, and not the best speed, but also not the worst.
It's very well-rounded.
Yeah, that's it. And
I will want to note that George said Momo will be rising in usage, right? Because it's a Stoutland check and mostly counter unless it's Cranium Z. Let's assume it's not. The Probopass also dropped with Stoutland.
Yes.
Which just traps it and removes it from the game. And Stoutland can continue doing what it did. and Mawil's threatened by Golem, which, as you said, is very, very common. And it also has no recovery, so it can be worn down even if you don't have one of those two Pokemon. It's a good Stoutland counter, but it really doesn't like this meta.
That's it.
Yeah,
even
for
that,
sure.
the prevalence of, like you said, fire types are rising. Let's say like Oricorio Ballet and Rapidash. I've been seeing a lot of usage. Kind of just blows back Mawile. And
and while Oricorio has been seeing a lot of usage, another thing that's going to be hurting Mawile is another drop in Probopass, which we can talk about more later. But
I just wanted to bring up, because we've been talking about the Choice Band set, but also I wanted to bring up the Sandrush set, which also fits on dedicated sand teams, but is also quite noteworthy. Stoutland, I think, outspeeds the entire unboosted metagame, and could just like spam its moves. Although it doesn't have the ability to hit ghost types with Scrappy, it's still I think it's still notable and kind of pushes Stoutland over the edge, in my opinion.
I don't think
also, it got a new teammate in Sandslash as well, which is another thing that makes Sand more viable as a playstyle.
I mean, we had Sandslash when Stoutland was here the last time too.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, we did. But Sandrush isn't what pushes Stoutland over the edge. It's just another thing that it does, in my opinion. I don't think Sand is broken by any means. I think it's fine to deal with. Tangela just kind of counters Sand from what I've played against it. Yeah, of course they run Tangela counters, but I don't know. I've seen that Sand really struggles dealing with Tangela.
Yeah, it struggles a lot in momentum as well, because like there's not really good steel types that can come in on stuff like Tangela, for example, or just like Obama Snow.
And also, it's worthy to mention
that are
that
slow and don't provide it.
Your Sand setter's Hippopotami, which is already not a good mon already, you know? Like, it can't run Eviolite because it needs those extra turns with Smooth Rock, so it's kind of hard to kind of even set up Sand in general at times, especially with stuff like Silvally Water and Marani being spammed, so I don't know. Like you said, it's doesn't push Stoutland over the edge, but it's something that's extra, you know what I mean? Like, kind of just adds on to
It's also notable to mention the workup set, which has seen some use.
I've been running that the entire time. I have literally not run Stout yet. I have only run Workup.
Workup with Groundium Z.
I ran Groundium Z, I ran Normalium Z, which is what I'm doing now.
I've actually been liking
Normalium breaks apart so many different things.
So strong.
It's so powerful.
I've been liking Z-Crunch to blow back Bronzor, but you could just pair Stoutland with Probopass and you could cover that anyways.
I mean, the thing about Bronzor is, if it comes in on Workup Stout, you get a Workup on the switch in, right? And then you just work up again, because Bronzor cannot Oko you. It can Toxic you, which is kind of bad, but you're a Breaker. You've got enough turns to do your job. And then you just blow it back with regular Crunch. You don't
especially if you're running Facade, and it's going to get even more kills.
And I know a lot of people have been mentioning like, oh, Probopass could check Stoutland and stuff like that, but don't forget that for times weakness to grounded fighting, you know, so like really with Stoutland's coverage.
Stoutland will always be able to beat Probopass because it's always running Stomping Tantrum or Superpower depending on whatever set.
Yeah. You have to be Magnet Rise Probo and come in on a return.
Or Air
to beat Stout. And it has to be Stomping Tantrum. If it's Superpower, you still lose.
That's why I'd run Superpower, because of even like Balloon is just annoying to lose momentum.
Yeah, I run Stomping Tantrum because I'm running Workup and I don't want to lose my boost.
Do you guys see any usage of Intimidate, or like, do you think that would...
Not yet, but it's viable. Intimidate Bulky Stout is absolutely viable.
Like, what about, I want to see like some sort of like Assault Fest.
Oh my god, that actually sounds sick.
Assault Fest Intimidate, I guess, could work. Yeah, I think the most common bulky set is the Rest Talk. I'm not sure what it runs. I don't run it, I don't like it very much, but it's not bad. I think if you run AV Stout, you'd rather just run AV Boof a lot of the time. So I guess Intimidate.
I guess it depends on your team. I mean, I still consider if your team needs a grass check, always go to Booform. But, you know, with Intimidate, I think, because they kind of have, like, similar bulk, so, you know, I guess it depends on the team at the end of the day. because they both have Pursue.
Yeah, and it can also be. Yeah, and the fact that Booth can beat Tangle is kind of a big deal too.
Yeah,
since,
yeah.
You know, it's just not a hard.
Yeah. Booth struggles to beat Tangler though, especially with Synthesis. It's just gonna do 0 damage. It's AV.
Yeah, I still think that offensive Tangler is the best set.
Yeah.
But now with Stoutland, I can.
Not anymore. Not with Stoutland.
Yeah,
I
can accept defensive.
But with Stoutland there, you have to be Fizz Death if you run time.
For sure.
Even with the prevalence of Lorantis, which we'll get to later.
Oh, yeah, we'll get to
we'll talk about Lorantis. Okay, but so I guess we can all agree that Stoutland is kind of too much in the tier right now. Is yes or no?
Yeah, I think so.
I won't make a comment on that until.
I need to see it a bit more in action, but from what I've seen so far and from what I remember it did back then, I think back then it also kind of abused the fact that we weren't as big yet, so not as many people were using the World Cup set, not as many people were running Sand, and you could just get away with preparing just for Band. But now there's so many people playing, that's just not gonna happen anymore, so Stoutland kind of becomes too much.
Yeah, that's it. And like there was less development in general, like we didn't see Mons, like you said, like Oricario and stuff to check the usual, you know, quote-unquote Stoutland checks like Mawar that was spammed before, so yeah. I think
who started the Oricorio wave? Like, I have no idea.
Apparently it's Quantum.
I actually don't know. I don't pay attention to who starts waves. I just follow.
It was me. It was me and Quantum.
I'm sure it was.
I built it for ZU Open.
It's true. Anyway,
for finals of ZU Open, we built Oricorio.
I guess that's a good segue to talk about recent metagame trends. We just had the seasonal. I think it's still going on. It's on its final rounds. And, you know, there's Snake going on, which finally includes ZU. So I guess we'll talk about some recent metagame trends, like stuff you guys seen, Mons or cores that, you know, have been picking up and have been doing good.
Started with Marini Bronzor.
Oh my god.
Marini Bronzor, Lurantis, and Oricorio are by far the most four big. Marini
Bronzor has been the balance score for a while now. It was in the last metagame. Now with Stoutland here, it's becoming a little bit more iffy because Stoutland can break it if it predicts well, but still, it's just really good. You run physically defensive Marini, especially defensive Bronzor. They complement each other so well. It's not even funny
because you would think about just use knockoff, but like usually these two are commonly paired with either Z move user or Savali form to check the knockoff. So that's just another good point. But yeah, like you said, their typing just complements each other so well, and toxic spikes for Marini especially is just something that's so annoying to deal with if you don't have something like a Roselia, Savali poison to soak them up, or like something like Muck. It's just really, really annoying.
Yeah, it's mandating as poison type since Savali forms don't like getting poisoned because they get worn down so easily. So, and as they are usually the most common defogger, that's an issue. That's why Lurantis has seen so much use, because it gets aromatherapy and synthesis, but it can also boost up on Marini.
Yeah.
So it struggles. The Bronzor Marini course just struggles with Lurantis in general.
Lurantis is, we can immediately make the segue into Lurantis now because like Mare Bronze is just the defensive core. It does what it does, right? It's pretty simple. It's just really good right now. You need to prep for it. But Lurantis is one hell of a Pokemon. Like a few months ago, everyone basically agreed that Lurantis was a worse Surfine, right? Surfine was.
I said that myself.
Just did its job better.
And this is after.
People began using more of, because what people were doing, they were just using Surfine sets on Lurantis. They were just using Leaf Storm, Hidden Power, Fire Synthesis, Aromatherapy, or Defog somewhere. Surfine does that better. It still does. Special contrary is still done better by Surfine. The thing that makes Lurantis so good is running just Leaf Storm Superpower, and then Synthesis and either Aromatherapy or Defog.
And it's so bulky too. Like, it's so
actually
bulky.
insane, yeah. Like even without investment, like in a special defense, without getting boosted in special defense, it could still check so many mons, and I find it snowballs so quickly. Like if you start letting Lorantis do its thing, it could just easily clean games. Not even if you have like solid checks, let's say like Bronzor or like fire types in general, or Kargobot, like it's just Lorantis's bulk and the power it has just by spamming its 2 moves, which is usually Leaf Storm and Super Power. It's insane. Like honestly, it's I think like a couple months ago it was like so low in the viability rankings, and it just shot up compared to like no Mon kind of just rose in viability so much as Lorantis.
Well, Marini was like in the upper C ranks.
Yeah, Marini did the same thing, but Lorantis is still rising, and honestly, I think in a few months, if this keeps up, it's going to get suspect tested, maybe banned, because it's so good.
You can't defensively check it. It just destroys bulky teams right now because of how well it just snowballs. You can really only offensively check this Pokemon.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, Oricorio, which we're gonna get to right after this, it's probably its best check right now, because it resists Leaf Storm, Quad resists Leaf Storm, resists Superpower, and those are really the only 2 moves it runs. So yeah, that's your way of checking it, but you're either Scarf or Oricorio, which is, in my opinion, its best set, because Scarfers are good.
I run Specs. I've always ran Specs.
I love Zero.
You run Specs. Okay, anyway, like, choice sets don't run Roost, so you cannot consistently check it, and it's quite weak to rocks.
Yeah, that's why people like Kushalos opted to run like a bulky Calm Mind Z-move variant, which I still think is a really good set because of its ability just to break through things.
But then again, like, it's still... It doesn't appreciate coming into like a +2, even a Leaf Storm, you know, it's still... Even though it quad resisted, like, if it's not running...
It actually only takes like... It takes like 20 from a +2 Leaf Storm.
Yeah. Oricorio is pretty fat. Like,
even
Lorantis usually does not invest in its offenses. Like, sometimes it does if it needs to... I think Frosty at this set where it ran like 48 attacks, so that +6 crit Leaf Blade would kill a +6 Muk or something like that.
Yeah, I don't run Leaf Blade.
No,
it's wild. I don't think anyone runs Leaf Blade. I think we all just run Leaf Blade. That breaks Muk anyway. But yeah, Lorantis is absolutely amazing, and it's only gonna get better too, because it's just so hard to answer.
It's just one of those mons. I find you can't build a team without a Lorantis answer at the moment. It's too much of a threat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can move on to the next one now, because I just run a record. I used to always, when I build teams, I had 5 Pokemon, and then I said, okay, I need a Scarf and a Plop on Rotom Frost. Now I have 5 mons and I need a Scarf and a Plop on Oricorio. Because it's also a Lorantis answer. It's a Lorantis answer. It's a Silvally Fighting answer. It's a Monferno answer. It's just its typing is so good now.
Yeah, like I was using it more offensively back when it was in C+, B- in the VR, but now it just fits so well in this metagame because of its defensive properties, which is surprising for like a Pokemon that's like 4 times weak to rocks. It's kind of like Moltres and OU or like UU right now. Because it can function so well on both ends of the spectrum.
Like it mandates support, but when the support is giving, it just puts in work. And I think also offensively, like just its stabs plus like coverage, like in Hit Power Grass, just hits most of the metagame for at least neutral damage and just.
It's really good at breaking that. The Marini plus Bronzor core as well, because Marini can't take boosted Hurricanes. I mean, it has to hit them, but
or you could just set up and use Taunt and Calm Mind, and that's it.
Yeah, they always run physical defense, and of course Bronzor, unless there's some sneaky heat-proof variant, which just drops the Revelation Dance.
Yeah, Oricorio. As I said, I run to a Scarfer, and there's nothing more satisfying than Power Grass and a Golem switching in. Right, that's such a good feeling.
Yeah, but now we have Probopass, which is gonna.
Yeah, that's another good one.
Yeah, Probopass isn't great for it, but it has U-turn as well, so it just gets out. You keep the momentum.
I've been seeing some people starting to run Hidden Power Fighting, but I still think hitting Golem harder is more important at the moment. But we'll see.
Oh yeah, I would always run Hidden Power Grass. Golem is still everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the use, it's like the second most used, and in some cases it's used more than Rotom Frost because of just how well it just fits on a team, which is what I was talking about earlier with the diversity of rockers being very little. right now.
It's because Torterra left. Just give us Torterra back.
I really miss Torterra still. I really miss Torterra.
We are not getting that back. We're just not getting it back.
No, nice.
Please give it back.
But I guess we could touch more upon Probo Pass still. I've really been loving, even though people still consider it a meme set, the SmackDown plus the Earth Power set to break through Bronzor. I've been liking that set a lot when paired with stuff like, let's say, Stoutland, right, that appreciate like steel types being removed. So what do you guys thought?
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Like Mawile, it just destroys it. It traps it. Mawile can never beat Probo Pass, and that's what makes Stoutland so good right now with Probo Pass, and as well as checking things like Mr. Mime. That's not Z fighting, and Shoutout's terrible now because of Probo Pass.
It's a Rotom Frost answer. It's like a genuine Rotom Frost answer that fits on team.
Yeah,
it's such a good feeling.
Yeah.
I use right now, I mean, I have the Stoutland Probo Core, but I just use Spadef Probo because I don't need it to trap steals on the team that I'm using. But it's still so good as a Frost Tomb check.
Yeah, I use, like, you don't really need offensive investment to beat things like Mawile or Bronzor because they can't Toxic you, and then, well, they Psywave, but you're getting leftovers recovery, hopefully. And on those sets, I mean, Z Earth Power offensive sets are definitely a thing, but if you can just literally
you could get away with like even just running taunt. Like once Bronzor is taunted, it really can't.
Yeah.
Taunt, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Actually, I mean, it doesn't even need to, because like it's more important for Mawile, like preventing to get a Brox, but because Psywave I think has potential to 3-hit or 4-hit you.
Yeah, it's just
possibly.
Rules, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't run SmackDown Earth Power, you're never killing Bronzor either. Let's be honest.
Of course.
And I don't run that on my set. I run Power Gem, Earth Power, Volt Switch. Rock.
I see a need for Power Gem. Like, what is it hitting? I mean, or
Rotom Frost.
That can, it can never stay in on you.
If you run SmackDown, Earth Power, Volt Switch, Stealth Rock, you aren't touching Rotom Frost.
And what about Obama?
And it's just gonna Volt Switch out.
Yeah. Even Obama.
I mean, it's gonna Volt Switch on you regardless. But, I mean, and Abomasnow always runs Earthquake.
Yeah, that's true.
It always just every set. Scarf runs it, Mixed runs it, ST runs it. So I don't really see a point in trying to hit Abomasnow for any more.
That's true.
I mean, it runs Focus Blast sometimes, but yeah, that still kills you, so it doesn't matter.
I guess another drop we could kind of touch upon a bit more is Gramble. I can't really speak much on it because I haven't used it too much myself, but if you guys want to give your thoughts. I
love Gramble so much. It's so good. It has no switch-ins. It literally, in the entire metagame, doesn't have a single safe switch-in.
It has such good coverage. It's like Stoutland in the terms of coverage, because like, normal types always got coverage, and Gramble was a normal type in Gen 5 before the fairy typing was introduced. So it has that amazing coverage, but it also has Intimidate, an amazing attack stat, and it's so strong. It's so strong, but it also has defensive utility in like Heal Bell sets, and I've seen Rest Talk sets. That was the thing in like RU, for example, a Rest Talk set. That's really, really difficult to beat. And it can just do so much, and Intimidate is just such a good ability too.
I think just having another fairy type in general is just something that I think we really appreciate in the metagame ever since the Valley Fairy left. And honestly, yeah, like you said, it hits really hard, and if it's really the only thing that bothers me about it is its low speed. If it had like 30 more points in speed, I honestly think it would be busted, but yeah, it's really just a good wallpaper here.
If it had 30 more points in speed, it'd be like NU or RU.
Yeah.
It was RU last generation, just want to let you know that.
See, Gramble with 75 speed would absolutely be like NU or RU.
I mean, you could get away with running Quick Feed, but I don't know.
If you run an ability other than Intimidate, you run you switch it on a U-turn and you're fast? Yes, please.
Oh, that's true. So yeah, it's a good fairy type. You know, I really appreciate fairy types coming in. They check stuff like Savali Fighting, which I guess we could talk about too. That's kind of been rising as the premier Savali form. I mean, you still see Savali Water and stuff like that, but I'm just saying like Savali Fighting, especially to check stuff like Rotom Frost, Obama Snow, and the newly Pro Pass, it outspeeds and it could offensively trick Stoutland as well. It's just fighting type in general.
Yeah, and it's the best partner for Marini Bronzor. I think that's something we need to not ignore.
It's a knockoff switching, basically.
Yeah, it's a knockoff.
Yeah, and it takes U-turns for days as well, which is really nice. So it doesn't get chipped by anything that just U-turns on it. Volt switch cores they annoy Marini Bronzor because they're so passive in themselves, so they don't like getting pivoted on. So Silvally, which can pivot itself, is really useful for it.
And the resistance to Stealth Rock too is kind of big too, because it's usually seen pivoting in and out against certain threats. And I know a lot of people kind of do you guys appreciate more like the Sword Stance plus Defog set, or just like all out Sword Stance?
No, I don't run Sword Stance. I run Defog 2 attacks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Defog multi-attacks, Shadow Claw, U-turn.
Yes,
check Kekleon.
Toxic. Sometimes I run Toxic over Shadow Claw.
Yeah, rarely. I almost always run Shadow Claw because Kekleon is just good, and you want to be able to answer it reliably. And Silvally fighting is really good at that. And like maybe like but Kekleon's normal type, you just multi-attack and no, it always Shadow Sneaks you, and then it dies to multi-attack.
And I guess,
Shadow Claw rather, because it's immune to multi-attack because of protein.
And I guess we can briefly touch upon Kekleon. It dropped last shift, but and it was good ever since it dropped, and it's still having larger impacts on the metagame. Like obviously the Assault Vest set is like the premier set that everyone uses, but I've been still like using like either the Life Orb set and the especially defensive Stealth Rock set. I think those are still both good options. Want to leave any thoughts on Kekleon?
No, I don't.
It's such an annoying move. Such an annoying move right now because everything's just weak to knockoff, and there are no knockoff switches. It's just such a pain to switch into knockoff.
And I've said this before, like with a different one we just talked about. It's a Rotom Frost answer that fits on teams.
Yes.
We didn't have this 2 months ago. Like none.
Well, I mean, we had
and now we have Kekleon and Probopass.
We had pseudo checks like Grumpig, and I guess you could say CK.
No, we did have Probopass 2 months ago. We only lost it for one shift.
Oh, really?
No. I don't think so.
We did.
Okay, fine. Either way, right? Kekleon was the first thing that dropped that gave us like, holy shit, we can switch into Rotom Frost, and I love it for it. Because it means that it's no longer impossible to see a Rotom Frost and think, okay, none of my team can reliably switch into this.
The issue with it for me is it's so hard to play around. It's bulky, but it's like hard to switch into. Which is weird. But if it gets toxic, it's dead. It's so useless because it just gets worn down so easily.
Or just hazard chips in general. Like it really gets chipped down if it can't get its Drain Punch recovery in. And the thing that annoys me about it the most really is the mind game side. You mentioned it previously, but like when it uses, let's say, if it's in its normal form and you bring in your fighting type, you kind of have to predict like, oh, should I use my coverage to hit it when it uses Shadow Sneak, or is it gonna just go for, I don't know, another move that doesn't make it into a ghost type per se. Like it's just those like 50-50s that I kind of don't like when facing Kekleon. But besides that, it is kind of easy to wear down with, especially with the prevalence of toxic spikes, but still the Drain Punch kind of alleviates that somewhat. And
I think it's a super healthy Pokemon in our meta. I think it's actually really important to, especially was before Stoutland dropped, and now it's a bit harder to use because Stoutland kind of abused it because it's too slow, and it can't Shadow Sneak to avoid its return because of Scrappy. But before the last metagame, it was crucial to us. I honestly think so. I think it would have been a lot worse metagame without Kekleon.
And I guess we could we could kind of talk about too, like the Premier Mon that everyone loves in Rotom Frost. A lot of people are saying it's been on a slight decline, and maybe for certain sets, yes. I mean, you know, every team usually prepares for like the standard Choice Scarf set, but I've still really been liking like Z-move sets with Pain Split, or even stuff like Will-O-Wisp and stuff like that. Kind of like it's more offensive, it's still offensive sets, but that use utility options. I've been still liking those, and I still think Rotom Frost is like just one of those mons that has the largest impact on the metagame, really.
It's the best mon in the metagame. Yeah. I don't think that's arguable, and
I think it's broken. Just saying.
I also still think
resuspect
it's broken. Yeah, we suspected it a few months ago. Durza and I both voted ban, but it didn't get banned by one vote. And that one vote...
Birdsea, why?
Oh, that was an unfortunate story, and I would tell it. Let's just leave it at that. Yeah, it avoided getting banned by one vote, which sucked for me at least, but a lot of people still think it isn't broken, so fine, right? I have to accept it, and we're not retesting it because we just have to accept it it's here, right? And we can play around it, especially with Kekleon and Probopass both here now for the first time. At the same time, we can work around it. It's possible. It's just so stupid how many 50-50s you play every turn. And now especially, I feel like right now, something that I've been really struggling with is actually fitting an electric community on my team.
Yeah, for sure.
Or just like an electric resist.
There are none.
I mean, most of them you could think of...
There's Golem.
Yeah, I think Golem...
The Golem is the
Gabite.
Only common electric community. Like, Gabite is good, but who's gonna switch in a Gabite on the Road of Frost?
Or even stuff like RC,
right.
like all the electric resists besides stuff like Seeking really just like get blown back by its ice coverage, and you know, so I think that's the most annoying part about it.
Seeking is its counter. Electivire can switch into its Volt Switch and take one Blizzard if it has to.
I love Seeking right now.
I know, just to check, imagine. It's like a ship mon, but it's just because of Road and Frost, everyone loves it, yeah.
I hate Seeking so much. I don't want it to be good. It should die in a hole, but it's only good because we have this stupid fridge.
No, I love it so much. It's like in the upper tiers. You just make a team, and if it's weak to special attackers, you throw on a Chansey. Like this, you make a team it's weak to Red on Frost, you throw on a Seeking, and you're good. Basically. And it gets broken moves. It's knockoff Scald, and Haze. Like, what else do you want?
What else? I want it to not be good because of Road and Frost. If it, like, I'd be okay with Seeking, right? As a fine mon in the metagame, if it wasn't just because of Road and Frost. Yeah. I mean, yes, people have told me it counters other electrics. Let's be honest. Who uses other electrics?
Besides Electivire, yeah.
Electivire. After Manectric left, Electivire is basically our only other type.
I don't use it, I'm sorry.
Me neither. But Seeking doesn't actually counter Electivire.
Hey, some people like to run Zebstrika on Rain.
I mean, yeah, it's okay, but I don't know. I still prefer Electivire or just go with Road and Frost.
Yeah, I was joking. I don't like Zebstrika at all.
But yeah, I don't know how long Froststone is gonna stay in our tier. It had 3.1% last time, so I'm praying to the PU ladder that they take it.
But I don't know. I guess with Probopass, I think like I definitely before the Probopass drop, I would have agreed to like a ban of it. But I don't know. I think right now it's still freaking good. It's a really strong threat, but there's certain checks like you mentioned, like Kekleon and everything that are used in a lot of team that can kind of keep it at bay. But again, you know, when you think of options like Will-O-Wisp,
it just pivots out.
Yeah, that's the main part.
It just pivots out.
What bothers me, what Durza said, Probopass is nice, and Road and Frost is never killing Probopass. Like, no matter what you do, if you run Spit F Probo, it's never gonna die to Road and Frost. But you switch it in, you get Volt Switch out, and suddenly there's a Monferno in your face.
Or a Silvally Fighting.
Or a Silvally Fighting. Or even a Stoutland that's gonna superpower you, right?
Or another Probopass that
every check a liability.
Yeah, it just gets so much momentum so easily because the ground types can't switch in, and everything that isn't a ground type just gets pivoted out of, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. So I guess off of that, I think we covered most of what I wanted to talk about. I don't know if there's any other like metagame trends that you guys...
We ignored Sandslash so far.
Well, yeah, there's Sandslash.
It's a bulky spinner that clicks Earthquake and knockoff.
Yeah, it's basically...
I think it's a result of poor roll compression, but it's alright.
I mean, a lot of people are mentioning too that's like one of the only viable rapid spinners, which is true. But then again, like it's poor special bulk and weakness to like, I don't know, a lot of like especially offensive typings. I don't know. I would only use it as a sand rush sweeper, really.
It pairs really well with Spike Silvally Bug. That's what I noticed before.
Silvally Bug.
Silvally Bug is genuinely not horrible.
Okay.
I know you don't believe me, but Silvally Bug is not horrible. It was actually legit good in Torterra meta, but now it's just not horrible.
All right. I'll stick to
That's
my
your
better
EU cheerleader, everybody.
I swear, trust me. Silvally Bug with U-turn, multi-attack, Zen Headbutt, and SD
Wait,
can legitimately put in
running
quite a bit
U-turn
of work.
and multi-attack?
Yeah, you just run both. Because U-turn is what you keep clicking the entire time. But multi-attack is slightly stronger, and you want to SD at times. Like, Durza doesn't like it. He's messaging me. He doesn't like it. Trust me. It's good. You hit basically everything. Okay, Promo Pass right now is really
I love my pivots weak to rocks.
Yeah, give me some... I mean, talk about Road and Frost, but still.
Hey. Exactly. That Silvally Bug cannot be blocked. It has the strongest U-turn in our meta, except for Ninjask, which is quad weak to rocks. Anyway, it's still a shitty mon, but it's just not horrible.
I guess
that's all I'm trying to say. That's probably...
I'll take your word on it, Chief.
One last point, though, I want to cover. A lot of people have been asking the kind of the position of stall in ZU ever since Pyukumuku left. I don't know if you guys still consider, like, is it possible to build a stall team? Like, people I've been seeing stuff with Shedinja or Ditto.
Especially with Lorantis.
It's not possible.
Lorantis destroys stall.
Yeah, even Lorantis destroys it, and Pyukumuku, until we get Pyukumuku back, it's never going to live again.
Stall breakers, like Orikorio Pom Pom would come back. We got Pyukumuku that just runs that taunt set that just destroys stall.
Or even taunt
if we're looking at the drops right now, it promises Pyukumuku comes back, but also promises that Sableye is coming, which just says no to stall.
Yeah, that's true.
So then it's over, right? If Sableye and Pyukumuku drop at the same time, I actually think stall might be worse than it was.
Yeah.
Because Sableye just clicks taunt, has Calm Mind, has Recover, and has Dark Pulse, and it's going to win the game.
Wouldn't you run knockoff? Or?
Not if you... No, you're running Calm Mind set.
No, but I mean...
Oh, Calm Mind.
Calm Mind, Dark Pulse, Recover, taunt.
I'd run knockoff in prison on some sets, just to destroy.
Well,
knockoff in prison, I guess.
A good point to note is that a lot of Pyukumuki's back when it was in ZU used to run Z Toxic to bypass taunt, but still relied on prediction. Definitely though, if Sableye drops, it's like the best like stall breaker. So
then you have to run Z Toxic Pyukumuku. Yeah. You already did because of Vigo.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't think stall right now is just unviable. You can't run stall. The Lorantis is everywhere. Stoutland is going to break you apart if you don't prepare for it really well. Without Pyukumuku, you just don't really stand a chance against this meta. And even when you get Pyukumuku back, you're going to get
still like what
Sableye.
Your Lorantis still breaks you even.
And actually, I'm not sure if Lorantis can break especially defensive Pyukumuku.
Oh really?
Yes, it can.
Yes. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because Lorantis is not that strong. I'm gonna calculate.
Just double checking.
Lorantis. I wonder how much you'd have to invest.
But like, most Pyukumukus used to be physically defensive though, no? Like, from what I remember.
Yeah, they used to, but I mean, if you wanna run special... I mean, Lorantis... if it runs There, look at this calc. It does... To special defense Pyukumuku, 0 special attack Lorantis, 44 to 53%.
No.
Which is almost 2 kill, but if it spams Recover and stalls you out of Leaf Storm.
I mean...
But that's relying on there not being hazards and stuff like that. It's a bit... It's an iffy check.
No, even a single round of Stealth Rock doesn't matter, because you come in on the... I think after... It's okay, it's a good chance to 2 KO after rocks, yeah.
I'd see the state of the tier first before I started running special attack investment on Lorantis if I needed to.
True.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Stall right now is dead. It's not gonna happen until Pukamook comes back, and after that it's gonna depend on
other drops.
if Sableye drops and if Lorantis is still good.
Yeah, it's true.
That's pretty much it.
Alright, so I think we've been rambling on for long enough. I want to thank you guys for joining me on discussing ZU, and hopefully we could do some more videos. Do you have anything else to say, Harry, or?
Not much. Play Zaju.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, and also subscribe to Durza's channel. I know he's posting videos now, right? I'll leave a link in the description. And
my channel died.
Yeah, we won't mention. No, you pronounce ZZ, so I'm not even gonna shout you out just because of that. Just because of that.
Remember, kids, ZU, not ZU.
Exactly. If you learn anything from this video, just know that. So yeah, later, peace.